Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Feature Fridays. My name is Garrett Trott. I'm part of the support team here at Uplifter, and joining me, as always, is the jovial, the jubilant, the Jackie Kwan. Hello, Jackie.
The
The Jackie Kwan.
I deserve a the. I
Yes,
just
absolutely. How are you today, Jackie?
I'm okay. How are you doing today, Garrett?
I'm doing very well. I'm very excited. We have ourselves a brand new feature, and thus we have ourselves a brand
We
new
do?
Feature Friday.
What is it?
We
What
do.
is it?
It is known as Federation Submissions, and it is going to be a very graceful and lovely way for our gym clubs as well as other future federations to submit their memberships up to their federations or their governing bodies. We've got a lot of really fantastic tools available to utilize. Some of them are going to be augmentations of tools that you're already familiar with, whereas other ones are going to be brand new and make your lives just that much easier. So we're very excited to get started. Jackie, I
Are you
will
gonna
leave
Are
it
you
to
gonna
you.
show us?
But I was hoping that you would.
I was hoping that you would.
Oh, okay, well then
You
I'm
want
not
me to do
prepared at all. We
this?
should
Okay.
just
Okay.
cancel all this.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Yes, as Garrett had mentioned, we are going to be talking about Federation submissions today. This is quite exciting because this has been a feature that we have been working on for honestly several years, but what we've been doing over the last several years is gathering data from all of our different stakeholders, from all of the different clubs and organizations that have been using Uplifter to see how can we provide the best quality data at the same time still make that process as simple as possible, and we are here. So today we are going to be showing you federation submissions. This is a feature that we are going to be launching next week, and once the feature is launched, this will be available for any of those organizations where their governing body is also using Uplifter to manage their membership registration. Um, and in those cases, when that governing body has this feature has been released to them, they will need to enable it. So if after we've launched it and you notice that it appears in our release notes, but you still don't see it, reach out to your governing body and ask them, are you going to be, when is it that we're going to be able to do this automatically so that we don't have to use the old process, but the old process will still be there. So let's jump in. So the first thing that you're going to do is I'm here on my demo gymnastics site, and I am going to log in here as an administrator, old Alan, trusty old Alan. He's our greatest administrator here at Townsville
Yes.
Gymnastics. He does everything. So what you're going to see here is once we actually launch this brand new feature, if you head down to settings, and you're going to see a new menu item at the very bottom, and it's likely going to say something like configure your federation connection. So right now our federation is our Uplifter Demo Federation. So you'll likely see something like configure Gymnastics Ontario configure connection. So click on that menu. When you click on that menu, you'll arrive at this page, which is a brand new page that we have actually been managing in the background for all of our clubs, but now we're going to give you the tools to manage this on your own. So the first thing that you're going to be able to do is you're going to see a list of fields that your governing body would like to receive from you. Some of these fields may be required, some of these fields may not be required. On the left-hand side is the field that would be in your Uplifter system. So when you have participants or gymnasts that come and register for programs, you have a participant name, birthday, gender, and then as well, you might have contact information that's a part of their registration invoice. So on the left-hand side, you will see the field that would appear in your club database. And on the right-hand side, this is going to be where that information is going to push to when you actually send that up to your federation. If there are any fields that are not mapped, they'll appear in this column here. So in this case, you see that there is a street address too that my federation has asked for. I've decided not to send it. But if you want to send it, you just simply select the element in the drop-down box, and then you click Save. So any of those fields that are requested by your federation will be listed here. Additionally, what you'll also be able to do is to map basically any other genders that that you might be collecting in terms of gender identity from your members, and also map that to what your federation might be using for that. So if you have a if you're collecting different gender information, you can figure out how is it that I want to translate that up to my league. So you can actually set that. You've been able to set that under the under Uplifter settings. So there's a quick link here. So once you've configured these details, I'm not going to save this here. You'll also notice that there's another tab here called Submission SKUs. Now, when you actually submit your registrations up to your federation, typically you have to configure your subscriptions to figure out what type of membership that's going to translate to when I actually go and register up to my federation. So, and you do that typically by setting the different drop downs when you set up your subscription. So you'll notice here that now this will be different for depending on your federation. Each federation will have different information that they actually want to collect from you. So in this case, this federation is asking for discipline, level, and role. And I don't know if any of you have been using our Federation Connection feature, but up until now, you had this huge drop-down list of all of these elements, and it was sort of, well, I'm not sure which combination of these elements I actually want to register for, or what the proper one is on my Federation side. So we've done a couple of things. First of all, we've made it so that you can actually disable any of the memberships or any of the disciplines or levels or roles or any of those elements that your federation collects. We're allowing you to disable any of those ones that you don't actually handle. So if you only handle WAG, for example, as a discipline, or you're only handling interclub invitational athletes and recreational athletes, you can just only enable the drop-down elements that you need to help you, declutter a little bit of that of that information when you actually go and configure them. What you'll then be able to do is you'll see, based on the combination that you've built here, which of the memberships are available with your federation that you can actually submit. So by enabling these, I now know that I've configured my setup to my federation to be able to collect recreational athlete memberships, women's artistic interclub, and women's artistic recreational athletes. And again, all of these elements will depend on your federation and the different types of memberships that they collect. If you decide that you want to add some memberships, or there's something that you don't see here in the dropdown, you can also take a quick scan here, and this will actually show you any of the memberships that are available with your federation that you aren't actively collecting. And if you want to just find the one that you're looking, let's just say, oh, we've decided to, we've got some MAG athletes as well. You can certainly just click the activate button, and it'll just push everything up to the section above, so that you can then collect those SKUs as well, or those registration SKUs as well, on behalf of your federation. Once you've configured these elements, let's go and take a quick look at our subscriptions. This is how you would actually configure. There we go. This is how you would actually configure the subscriptions that you're going to collect when your members actually come and register. So in this case, I'm taking a look at my gymnastics membership fee for my 2020-2021 season. There's a few changes that you'll see here, not very many, but I just want to introduce you so that you know how that works. Now, if you are a brand new club with Uplifter and you haven't set this up, we're going to have a few more demos that will walk you through the setup of this, and we also have some other resources available to provide you with a little bit more information on this. So if I'm going a bit quick, we will have some other resources available. Always reach out to us at support. We can certainly point you in the right direction to get started. But for those of you that have been using Uplifter, you might recognize down in the subscription section, when you actually set up your subscription, you'll select that you want to make it attached to a season. You'll decide what season it is that you want to attach it to. I've already collected registrations for this season, so that's why these dropdowns are already grayed out. And then you'll recognize these different dropdowns that you were asked to set previously, and so you'll still be able to set them, but you'll notice that they're a little bit more cleaned up. You don't see all of the different options. You just see the options that we've enabled on that configuration page that I just showed you previously. If you know that you collect a membership that you don't see in these dropdowns, you can very easily click on this little link here, and it'll take you back to that configuration page so that you can go and re-enable any other membership combinations that you might want to collect. We've also added 2 additional checkboxes here that allow you to configure this with even greater detail, as it were. So previously, what Uplifter would do is if it sensed that the participant that's registering for one of your programs was registering for something that was of basically a lower weight than something that they've already registered for, Uplifter would automatically discount that membership down to $0. We're now allowing you as the club to select or deselect this. There may be cases where you do actually want to collect that membership fee for a number of reasons, because you've attached your federation fee along with other club admin fees, and you want to make sure that everybody pays that regardless of whether or not they're registered with another club. So you can certainly decide whether or not you want to drop this down to 0 or not, and Uplifter can sort of do that work automatically for you if you select this. And then the other option too is that with our federations, we know that there may be multiple memberships that a single participant might be eligible for. So for example, you might have an athlete that competes at an interclub level for artistic gymnastics, but at a provincial level for tumbling, let's say. And because they compete at both those levels, you do need to register with your federation for both of those memberships. So what you can also do is Uplifter will now allow multiple memberships or subscriptions, as it were, to be added to a participant if they actually fulfill more than one unique combination of the different elements that you've selected. Now, you're probably asking, why is this a problem? Because I've got all of these 3 selected, so it will always only resolve to one combination of the 3 because it's always going to add these 3. Well, Uplifter's now added a couple of ways that you can actually optimize how it is that you actually determine these elements. So it used to be that the easiest way to get things sort of working would be to select something in every single one of the drop downs that were available here. But that would require that if you actually had a recreational membership, you'd create a subscription for your recreational athletes, then a separate subscription for your competitive athletes, your interclub or your provincial or whatever combination that you'd like. But let's say for a second here that we just decided to now only select athlete. We know that we're always going to have, we want this fee to basically just be our athlete membership registration. So you can leave these other elements blank if you know that this registration is only going to apply to an athlete. And what Uplifter will now do is you can select these same options at both the program level, the category level, and the category level. Did that make sense? No. Let's try that again.
Level and the
category level. So if you're familiar with Uplifter and how the hierarchy of inheritance works, we do this with our prerequisites, where if you have this prerequisite set at the category level, it automatically translates down to your programs. We're now allowing you to do that same sort of inheritance with these elements. So why is this easier? So instead of actually creating a separate subscription for each of your different membership levels, you can create just a single athlete membership. You know that your federation is going to charge you, let's say, $20 for that fee, regardless of what level it's going to be. You can just set up one athlete fee. But you can tag this to all of your registrations. And then what you can do is at your program, so here I am at under products and programs, you can now set these same elements at the program level. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Hopefully I haven't timed out. So if you scroll down, you'll now see these options here at the program level. And so what it will do is when a participant is registered for a program, let's say in this case, we know that this is a general recreational athlete. When they register for this program, it will take the values from the program in combination with the values that were defined at the subscription level, and basically merge all of that together so that when you go to submit this up to your federation, it will know that this is a general recreational athlete. So you can set this differently for each program. And then alternatively as well, if you go to your settings and go to settings and categories, you can also set this at the category level, the category side, and then the category level side. So, and it will just basically work up the tree accordingly. So what this means is that it doesn't require you to set this all the time. It only requires you, so if you know that everybody in your kids category is going to be a recreational athlete, a general recreational athlete, you can set this here. And if this program is added to the invoice with the combination of that subscription, it's going to know that they are a general recreational athlete from your subscription. So it's quite a bit to digest. And if you have any issues with sort of calculating that, we'll have some reports that will actually help you determine how some of that will actually calculate through. So let's dive into how this works. So from here, once you've actually collected all of your registrations, and maybe what might work would be, Garrett, you explained this so well like an hour ago. Do you want to try?
Oh no.
Yeah, you did. Do you want to take a stab at explaining it here again? Do we need to, or do you think we could move on?
Sure. Well, so in this particular instance, let's, if you would be so kind as to zoom in just a little bit there. We have some examples in the active season SKUs. Oh, that's way too much. Oh, there we go. We have some examples here. So at the very topmost listing, we see men's artistic, interclub invitational, athlete. And then at the second last, we see women's artistic, interclub invitational, athlete. Now, both of these memberships are the same price in this particular instance. They're $20. Yours might be different, but in the end, what it comes down to is you want to create a subscription that's going to attach to your registrations. But when the subscription attaches, the only thing you really know about that subscription is that it's an interclub invitational athlete. But the one thing that you don't know at the time of the addition is whether it's going to be a MAG or WAG athlete. So in that particular instance, what you can do is you can set your category to have that discipline specified. So when someone purchases a program from within that category, it's actually the category that's making the determination about the discipline and assigning it to that whole subscription. So because your subscription's missing the discipline element, it looks at the program. The program doesn't have it. It looks at the category level. The category level doesn't have it. It looks at the category, and voila, there it is. So now that category is specifying that it's indeed someone registering for a WAG program, and thus they get a WAG Interclub Athlete membership.
Thank you, Garrett. I'm sorry to make you put you on the spot and make you do that.
No problem.
That was awesome.
I hope it was okay.
So let's jump to what does this all mean? So once you've collected all of your registrations and you've got all of these subscriptions, you can now go back to people and accounts and your submission page. Now you would have had access to this page previously. You would have seen this in before. And what you would have seen before would be an export button. So let's take a look at this page now because we've added a few features. So here you'll see a full list, but you're going to see a few more icons here and a few more elements. So here you're going to see an icon for your federation if this participant is intrinsically linked to your federation already. So in cases like this, you know that this is a new registrant that hasn't yet been linked. So as well, we'll also give you a little bit of feedback if there's a bit of a problem with how you've got this set up right now. So in this case, it shows me that the SKU combination is not available with this participant. And that's because I'm taking a look at this. Oh, I've got some really old registrations from the 2019-2020 season that don't look like that they had been submitted correctly, or I had submitted them through another way. So there are definitely ways that you can actually bypass this. You can actually go straight to the invoice, and you can actually go to the subscription. You can decide, do I need to remove the subscription and provide a refund for that participant, or simply just dismiss that dismiss this error because we know that we've handled it in a different way. So if you run into these error cases and you're not quite sure what to do, just contact our support team and they'll certainly walk you through it. I'll just show you very quickly. So here we see that this one was submitted by another club because it's sort of at a point where we wanted to collect that money anyways because this is part of our policies. You can just simply update that status to submitted so that that error will fall off the page. So let's deal with just our, the one season, 2020, 2021. Other things that you'll also see here is the matching pop-up. So at the case where there was a participant with your league that seemed to have sort of the same information, you would have to import your file and you would have to deal with all of these potential matches, as it were. So now you can do this directly from your own Uplifter site. You'll see your Uplifter details and you'll see the information that is available at your federation. And you can actually do this matching directly from this page. So once you've matched up your elements and, oh, here I see that Cooper and Mary are registered. Oh, they're registered for something that shouldn't be available because my federation has decided that they're removing the casual memberships from their league. So I'm going to flip that over to athlete and I'm just going to check these all off. I'm going to click submit here and that's pretty much it.
Oh,
so now
it?
I'm done.
Oh man, I have so much time for activities.
So once you've done that, what's going to happen is in the background, Uplifters actually has submitted that through to your federation, and it's going to process all of that information. If there are any errors with the processing, they'll appear here again as well. So when you come back to the page another time, you might see those error conditions, or as well, you might be notified via email to know that those elements might need to be acted upon or resubmitted for one reason or another. So what is actually happening? So now, oh, I've already finished that. So in the background, it submitted this information up to my federation. Here's my Townsville Gymnastics Federation site. And now I can now log in as a club administrator to my Townsville administrator site. Once I've logged in, I'll go into my accounts. And under my accounts, there's now new elements that you'll actually be able to see. So I'm going to now click on Invoices. And what will have happened in the background is all of those memberships would have been submitted up to the league. And then they're going to be processed in the background and sort of put on hold on what's called a submitted invoice. So this also leads me to a new feature that we're going to be releasing with part of this, is that you're now going to be able to see both on hold, submitted, and pending invoices in your member account invoices list. And with any of those invoices, because they haven't been completed, you can now click on the shopping cart link if you want to actually take over that or registration invoice into your cart and complete it. So let's say, for example, you've submitted all these memberships, but you realize, oh, I submitted them too early. My program doesn't start for another 2 weeks, and I don't know whether or not everybody's going to actually come in. If you want, you can come here. You can certainly hijack this invoice, take it over, click OK, and remove everything from the cart so that you have to resubmit it. But for the most part, you're just going to let Uplifter do its magic. So your federation is going to decide sort of a regular schedule that they will then take these submitted invoices and automatically process them so that they will complete the invoice, complete the registration, and then if you actually have a payment method on file, it can actually also charge on that payment method. So for the most part, you don't have to do a thing. Your federation will likely have these registration invoices work in the background, probably overnight, maybe on a weekly basis, possibly even on a monthly basis, but we're going to recommend probably on a daily basis. And you'll see these registration invoices available to you. So, yes.
How do I pay for these invoices?
Well, how do you pay for these invoices?
Yeah.
Well, when after the invoice has been processed, if you don't actually have, if your league doesn't or your federation doesn't have a payment method that can be saved onto the account to be automatically processed, you'll just need to come to this page. You'll actually receive an invoice by email, like you always do after you complete your checkout process. And you can come into your account and you can actually pay for your elements here. They would appear here as an outstanding invoice, and you can certainly make a payment. But as well, if you actually have a payment method on file that is saved, you can actually select this little button here that says this payment is set to automatically charge federation submission invoices. You don't need to set one if you don't want to, but if you know that if you want to set it and forget it, you know you've got a credit card that you can just sort of process all of your memberships on, you want to collect all those points, you just select this in your federation account and it will automatically process that invoice on that payment method. So let's say time has passed and we have now passed the scheduled time that the league has decided that they are going to process their invoices. If you come back to this page, your invoices page, you'll now see that this invoice has now been completed and now has been fully paid on the payment method that I had selected just on the previous screen. So there you go. That's now how you can submit your registration, your membership registrations up to your federation. You don't need to import. You can do all of that management of your error handling directly from within your Uplifter site here. And you don't have to wait for things to process and wait for all of those calculations for the highest fee paid to be completed. All of that will be done directly in the background without a lot of intervention on your part. I tried to keep it to 20 minutes, but I didn't. I failed. I'm really sorry, Garrett.
You did great. This is a very dense topic, so you got through it. I'm impressed.
It's a topic that I've been very excited about this has been in my dreams for years. So
I feel sorry for your dreams. No offense, but I'm flying in mine. I don't know what you're doing.
I am flying and writing this
and
code
you're
at the
writing
same
this
time.
code. Yeah, so fair enough.
So if you, we are going to be releasing this next week. We're going to be notifying any of our federations on Uplifter that this is available so that they can enable this and make all of our club administrators' lives much, much easier. I know that we've introduced a number of different features and nuances that can help you as a club simplify your life. So if you don't understand any of this, or if I've glossed over this too quickly, because I do tend to talk kind of quick, please contact us here at support@uplifterinc.com. Garrett, is there anything else that you want to talk about other than this little thing that I'm going to click on?
No, that is the only thing that I want to talk about today. The refer and save. If you watch our Feature Fridays, you might be sick of hearing about it. But for those of you who don't know about it, we do have a refer and save option here, where if you do love Uplifter and you want, some other people who would love Uplifter as well, you can refer them to us, and you can save some money, and they can save some money, and it's a win-win-win. So by all means, spread the love. And just a big thank you to everyone for joining us today. We always appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, everybody.